The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate it. Or there's something happening on social media that we need to address. The loudest voices on social media are often the least informed. Right now, there is a wave of digital sabotage trying to make you believe that Captain Ibrahim Traore are all in all, just walked into the IMF and sold out Burkina Faso. But here is the truth that the mentally enslaved don't want to research. Captain Ibrahim Traore didn't invite the IMF. He inherited them. Today, we are going back to the source, the Blaise Compaoré's regime, to show you how the chains were forged and how Traore is actually breaking them. Let's talk facts. For 27 years, Blaise Compaoré ran a structural adjustment regime. While he was preaching stability, he was signing away Burkina Faso's future. As early as 1991, Compaoré signed the first major structural adjustment program with the IMF. He didn't build, he borrowed. By the time he was ousted in 2014, the country was tied into long-term extended credit facilities. These aren't one-day loans. They are 10, 20, and 30 years trusts. When Captain Ibrahim Traore all took office in 2022, he didn't walk into a vault full of gold. He walked into a room full of Compaorés and paid bills and international contracts that, if broken instantly, would have caused a total economic blockade of the country. So, why did the IMF just disburse 33 million in February 2026? Some you'd say, see, he took the money. The truth, the money is part of a 48-month program designed to manage the massive deficit left by previous administrations, Compaoré and Kaboré. Traore is playing economic judo. He is taking the disbursements that are legally owned to the state under these old agreements and using them to fund the Ministry of War and the Sovereign Development Plan. Notice how the IMF is praising him. It's because he has cleaned up the corruption that Compaoré allowed. He's making the money work for the people for the first time in 30 good years. As the proverb says, a wise man uses the enemy's spear to defend his own house. To the African youth on social media who are trying to reframe this to make the captain look bad, wake up.
You Pan-Africanist hype squad never fail to amaze me. Every week, you're online shouting about how Burkina Faso is the chosen rebel child of Africa, standing tall, rejecting the evil IMF, and showing the rest of the continent how to resist Western influence. And of course, Captain Ibrahim Traore is your superhero, your anti-IMF prophet, your we don't need a West mascot, all because he gives fiery speeches about sovereignty and financial independence. Meanwhile, you weaponize that to bash every African country that dares take a loan. Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, everyone is a sellout except your golden boy. But here's the funny part. While you are busy chanting down with the IMF, your revolutionary superstar has been signing IMF deals like it's a Black Friday sale. Let me walk you through the receipts. March 2023. Traore's government quietly pockets $81 million under the IMF's rapid credit facility to address food insecurity. Translation: emergency bailout. September 2023, IMF approves a massive $302 million extended credit facility spread over 4 years, starting with a neat $32 million upfront. But I thought they were sovereign. February 18, 2026, another round of $124 million from the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, plus an extra $33 million from that same ECF. Climate reform funded by the very imperialist institution you claim they rejected. But sure, keep hyping the $12 million tomato factory funded by local donations as proof of economic independence. Cute project, but it doesn't erase the IMF stamp on the balance sheet. So tell me, Pan-African keyboard warriors, where is the outrage now? Where is the boycott hashtags? Where is the IMF is neocolonialism battle cry? Your anti-IMF poster boy is literally doing business with the IMF while you're on Twitter calling everybody else sellouts. The hypocrisy is wild. But go ahead, drop the excuses in the comments. I'm ready to hear the mental gymnastics. By the end of 2027, Ibrahim Traore will have borrowed more money from the IMF in 4 years than Kaboré did in 7 years. 2015 to 2022, and more than Traore did in 27 years. So remind me again how Traore is the great anti-IMF warrior and how Burkina Faso is sovereign, because in your pseudo-intellectual worldview, any African nation that takes an IMF loan automatically becomes a puppet state. This is exactly why I keep telling you that strongman salvation is a fantasy, especially in countries with low literacy. Betting your nation's future on a so-called benevolent dictator is a gamble that destroys countries far more often than it develops them. You people were busy spreading fake news that Traore rejected IMF loans and imperialist deals. But look at the receipts. The man has been doing business with the IMF from day one. So honestly, who is deceiving who here? And just in case you dream of leading an African nation someday, let me give you billion-dollar wisdom for free. Not even China, with over 1 billion people, achieved economic takeoff without access to Western markets. If you think you will turn an African country into a global powerhouse by cutting ties with the West and only trading with Africans, Russians or Chinese, your economy will never come close to being globally competitive. Even the same pseudo-intellectual content creators feeding you this anti-West nonsense rely on Western audiences for their highest CPMs. That should tell you everything. Don't be a foolish leader. Stay sharp. So Pan-Africanists, let's talk. Because this hypocrisy has been marinating for too long. For years, you've been hyping the AES countries, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, as the brave heroes who cut ties with the West and rejected the evil imperialist IMF. Meanwhile, any African leader who takes an IMF loan is immediately branded a puppet in your shallow worldview. But here's the part you conveniently ignore. Your own revolutionary superstars have been taking IMF loans the entire time. Not once, not twice, repeatedly. And all of a sudden, all that loud anti-IMF energy you normally have for Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya disappears. Complete silence. Not a word. No pim. I really think those of us with functioning brains have allowed this propaganda to circulate unchecked for too long. But now you have my attention, and I will happily dismantle every pseudo-intellectual talking point you people recycle like gospel. Look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking foreign loans to fund serious national projects. But when you claim loans equal foreign control and loss of sovereignty, then turn around and share for leaders who secretly go begging the same IMF for cash, that's broad daylight hypocrisy. And it makes me wonder how many more skeletons are hiding in their cupboards. Because just look at your so-called saviors. You overthrew governments in the name of fighting T groups more aggressively. Yet, what exactly has changed? In Mali, Jenim literally blockaded Bamako, the capital. Fuel shortages everywhere. In Niger, IS filmed themselves attacking the Niamey airbase again, the capital. In Burkina Faso, T groups control more than 30% of the country, and Burkina now ranks number 1 on the global terrorism index. So tell me, what miracle has been achieved? What progress justifies all the coups, the slogans, and the chest-stomping speeches? Or are these guys just behaving like Nigerian politicians, promising heaven, delivering a more polished version of hell, and blaming imaginary enemies when reality hits? Stay sharp.
The reality check. You are being used as digital mercenaries for the very people who want to see Burkina Faso fail. You claim to want freedom, but you are too lazy to do research. The eye sees only what the mind is prepared to comprehend. If your mind is still enslaved by Western narrative, you will see alone and think betrayal. If your mind is free, you will see a leader forcing a corrupt system to pay for his nation's liberation. Go back to September 2023, ECF request. Look at the governance diagnostic. Traore is forcing the IMF to acknowledge his mining reforms. Reforms that Capt would never have dared to sign. For those of you shouting on social media, let's look at the days. History doesn't lie. Look at the screen. This is the day the chains were locked, when Captain Traore was likely still a young boy. The Capt regime signed the first structural adjustment program. They traded our gold and our dignity for IMF credit that your grandchildren will still be paying for. By the late 90s, Capt had signed 3 consecutive IMF programs. He made the IMF a permanent manager of our economy. When the captain took over in 2022, he didn't find a free country. He found a country with a mortgage signed in 1991. This $33 million you are seeing in the news today. This is a disbursement from a legacy program designed to keep the state from defaulting on the very debt Compaoré signed. Traore isn't asking for new change. He is using the IMF's own money to pay off the old ones while he builds a new independent mining sector. Stop being digitally enslaved by 60-second clips. Recite the 1991 ASP. Recite the 1996 ESAF. Then you will see that Ibrahim Traore is the one finally cleaning up the mess. So wake up from your sleep. And why Africans are quick in pointing fingers at the downfall of a great leader is something I wonder. We talk about Thomas Sankara. We talk about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the good things of these people. Yet when they were alive, we never saw their importance. That is how come Africa, you are not moving forward. Now that we have three good, great leaders, because they don't serve the interests of you and your masters, you sit down and point fingers at them. You only appreciate the great leaders of Africa when they are no more. But we will not allow you to pull us back. Captain Ibrahim Traore is the best. Assimi Goïta is the best. Abdurrahmane Tchiani is the best. Our two generals. These are the heroes. He never accepted anything from IMF. If your father's inheritance or properties are given to you, do you say because you didn't work for it, you wouldn't inherit your father's property? That is exactly what is happening under Captain Ibrahim Traore. And there is nothing some of you that are the mouthpiece of the colonizer will do that will change the fate of Africa. We will be free no matter what. Like Captain Ibrahim Traore said, all of us cannot wake up. No, it is not possible. You quote Nkrumah, yet people never loved Nkrumah. You quote Thomas Sankara, they never loved Thomas Sankara. Simple because the interests of just a few people aren't met. And if we continue to be doing this to ourselves as Africans, we will never get anywhere. But as long as we have the youth, we have people and leaders who are leading the true course of Africa, we will be free. We want to live an Africa like China, an Africa like Russia, Korea for the generations to come. And whatever that you do today, history will remember you. We will fight regardless of what you say. You can continue to praise the Western narrative and point bad fingers at your heroes. That only shows how mentally enslaved you are. Because if you are truly free, like Bob Marley said, I think by now we'll be the ones to cherish our leaders and even cover the bad things that are happening. Like the oppressor do to you, the African. They cover up the bad places in their countries and show you the best. And all you think as an African is Africa is hell. That is how they want to program you. But this time, we will not allow you to throw dust in the eyes of other people. Africa is free and it must be free. The continent belongs to us, and we cannot continue to be slaves to other people. Motherland or death, Africa must be free. And we will fight without the help of some of you. We all cannot go in the same direction, but we will be free. And I love the latest community because we have people in our community who believe, who can see, who can read, and who can tell the voice of a true African. Captain Ibrahim Traore, long live. Assimi Goïta, long live. General Abdurrahmane Tchiani, long live. Long live Africa, long live AES. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's colonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa.